And that's how you women got to wake up and see, is that everything that you see in this world is not for you. Everything that you see everybody doing is not for you. Because I was around people that was bullying me, my environment, I became the person bullying. I became that child that walked up in the school with the duffel bag. I had a gun, they didn't know it. And guess what else? I had, it was one time we went up in there, me and my sisters, we had butcher knives. Our daddy, he killed cows and hogs, and so he had all kind of knives and stuff. The plan was to kill people. So I know what the influence can do to a person. The influence can take and suck the life out of you. When I was putting those big old knives in those book bags and hiding them, I didn't feel nothing but numbness to the world. I wanted people to feel what I felt. I wanted to hurt people the way I had been hurt. And that's what negative influence will do over your life. Before you know it, you'll start doing things to people that people used to do to you. So that's why the Bible teaches us, do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. The renewing of your mind. And then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, his good, pleasing, and perfect will for your life. All right. So more things about liking and social proof is, look at the movie The Black Panther. It came out last weekend, and so many people had so much on Facebook and social media sites to say about that movie. Well, guess what? Because they were saying a lot about that movie, they influenced people's spending habits. Because now you had people who normally wouldn't go to the movie going to the movies to see The Black Panther. So we are easily influenced by the things that are around us. And social proof, the thing about social proof is it will make it seem like there are no consequences to your actions. And that's why social proof is dangerous. It can be good in one way and it's dangerous in another way. Because when you start talking about social proof, when you need the approval and validation of others, and you start looking at things on these social media sites, how many sites do you see videos and stuff you see where people are beating each other? You know, we had all the teen videos that came out at one time when all the teenagers were fighting and taking videos of it. From everywhere, every community had teenagers just wanting to fight so they can load up a video on Facebook. Look at the women now that are on social media. Those of them that are doing the makeup tutorials. Those women who have low self-esteem are flopping to those videos like crazy, not realizing that they're beautiful just like they are. They may need a little touch-up here and they might just need to comb your hair. But they don't see that. Because they're hurting on the inside. They need to be approved by somebody else. Because so much done went wrong for them down through the years. They need to be approved by somebody else. So they got to learn how to do this and that. And it's an ongoing process because they don't know who they are. They don't know who they are. So we have to be careful when it comes to that social proof. It makes it seem as if there are no consequences to putting that video up of those children fighting. Guess what the consequences was? Consequences was it became a pattern. Other people started doing it. Other communities started doing it. Crime rates started going up. So you just have to be careful when it comes to that. Another example of social proof is, now this may be a good example here because I want to tell you the good and the bad of it. A good example of social proof is whenever you go online, say like eBay. I was on eBay 3 weeks ago ordering a part for my car, and I saw the part that I needed, and I looked over at the reviews. The reviews, whether it had 5-star, and I read what people said about it. People gave the site that I was getting it off of came highly recommended by people that had already used that product. So that was a good example of it. Another good example of social proof is restaurants. Restaurants, when people recommend certain restaurants to you, and you see whenever you go in there, you see the menu. Or sometimes they have a board that's sitting out there, and it says the most popular dish for $3.99 or $5.99. It's kind of like a deal, and then everybody wants to get that dish because, you know, they just said it's popular here, and it's kind of cheaper than the rest of the food because it's popular. So that's another example of social proof whenever it comes down to, like, being a consumer. So basically, when we talk about social proof, when it comes down to our life, it's basically a tactic to ease your mind and make you worry less about consequences. That's what it basically is. It makes you worry less about consequences. So, let me see where I'm at. Okay, so if anybody's on the line, what are some ways that we put ourselves out in the public to be liked and gain attention? Anybody want to answer that? Because every woman wants attention at some point or another. Every woman wants that attention, whether it be negative attention or it be positive attention. So sometimes when we want attention from people, the influence is so great that we start doing negative things. We do negative things. You know, y'all seen the women on Facebook who get on there, you know, twerking and all that stuff. That isn't positive. That's negative when your drawers is all the way up in your butt. You teaching our young girls that they can hold anytime they feel like it. All twerk dances ain't good. So we do negative things. And this is one, too, right here. This is one that a lot of women don't even realize they got. When they try to get attention, they'll start using sickness as an excuse. Every time you turn around, they're sick. They're just sick all the time just to get that attention from people or maybe that person that they're trying to like. You know, they'll just stay sick all the freaking time. The next thing is act out by talking negative about others, you know, putting other women down. Y'all know how it go. You see a woman come in looking nice, and the first thing you assume is that she thinks she's all that. Start hating on how she look, what she's got on, you know, and probably even talking some gossip, telling lies about her. Another way that women put themselves out in public to be liked or gain attention is having risky sex, unprotected sex with different men. Women do that. If they want to really feel connected, they'll sleep with so many men, and it just keeps going on and on and on. They no longer begin to respect themselves, so therefore they just sleep with anybody, unprotected sex. Another thing is suicide threats. Y'all know that you have watched movies where you always see, y'all, hold on, let me take this earring off. It sounds like it's just loud. It sounds so freaking loud, y'all, for real. It keeps dangling. But movies influence us a whole lot. Romantic movies, especially for us women, where we see the woman on there who wants the man, and then, you know, she'll start throwing tantrum fits. And sometimes you might even catch a movie where someone plays that suicidal role, and then somebody runs in and saves them, like the damsel in distress. We have a lot of women that are influenced by stuff like that. They actually think that life is a fairy tale because they haven't come out of their fantasy mode yet and realized that life ain't no fantasy. Life ain't no fairy tale. If you try to kill yourself, chances are you might succeed. If nobody ain't never told you, you might succeed. So we got women who put themselves out there by using suicide threats. We have women who put themselves out there by creating drama in their relationship and in others' relationships, other people's relationships. Can't nobody be around them because they want to create that drama for other people and themselves. They can't hold down a relationship because they're always about that drama. Those are some of the negative ways that women like to gain attention. And it really gets them nowhere. All it does is make them more miserable. They just don't know it. So when we talk about it, what is God desiring from you in a time like this? In a time like this, what is God really wanting from us women? In a time like this, even the women who don't have children of their own, what is God saying in a time like this? What is he really wanting from us? Because us women, we have the power to change a whole lot of things. We have the power to change a whole lot of things that's going on in our communities, on our jobs, in our homes. One of the things that really, really just touched me, and it made me cry, because I began to think about what those children were saying down in Parkland, Florida. What they were saying is stop praying and start acting. Our children started losing hope in God. By all means, we don't want to stop praying anytime. But those children got so fed up by what was going on, and you got to think, when we're talking about out here in the world, the real world, Satan is out here. He comes to kill, steal, and destroy. And so everybody already knows we got all these different religions going on. So now these kids are hollering, stop praying and start acting. So it kind of makes you think, what's going to be next? What's going to be next? Influence is big and powerful. They didn't just holler it in Florida. The influence was so great, it went all the way to the White House and around different other states too. So we got to understand God in a time like this. What is God desiring from us in a time like this? For one thing, women have standards. Women have so many different standards now according to the world that they are confusing themselves. Women think that they got to do everything that they see everybody else do. The one thing about a woman, whenever she starts losing herself and losing her identity, is that the first thing she wants to holler out is, I'm independent. I don't need anybody. And reality is, even if you are a single lady, you're going to always need somebody. You're not going to be able to do everything on your own. So women's standards now have actually went low, but they think it's high. Because the standards now ain't on about building a solid foundation, having solid families, building really strong, healthy relationships. Now the standards of women are how high is your high heel? Where did you get your MAC makeup at? How do you put on glitter eyeshadow? What club you going to? Women have standards like that now. And those that are in business-oriented, some of them are okay, and then we have some of the women who are just out there and just really lost. So what are the standards that women have today that are helping this world, that are helping people out? They don't have that kind of foundation today. Women are losing their identity because they don't acknowledge that we are God's children, for one thing. Women are so full of themselves today that if their child shows signs of something, the first thing they say is that the child is just acting out. They don't take time to understand what children are saying to them. So that's how we end up with children who are out here doing crazy things. I tell people all the time, it's not even the guns that are killing people. It's people. It's a head thing. Women with these high, prideful ways, it's stuff like that that is hurting our generation. It's stuff like that that's holding women back from going forward, from being productive, from having productive fruit, good fruit. Anybody can produce fruit, but is it good? So they need someone to always validate or tell them who they are. They are eager to say that I am strong and independent because they are conforming to the world, but they won't give God the credit for whatever he's doing in their life. All right. So moving on. Any questions?